Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to today's call. Today, we're going to chat about energy. And you can spell that a couple different ways, the normal way or NRG. All right. So, energy is an issue that a lot of people have. And I was just chatting with my group here about a client who is in her early 80s. And she was just talking about how she was dragging. She says she's been sleeping fine, eating pretty good, but yet just no energy. We meet twice a week for training sessions virtually, and I could just tell. I could see her. She's just struggling with the warm up, and like that's a good sign. But if you're struggling with the warm up, there's kind of not a whole lot of intensity rises from there, right? So we've been taking it easy. I'm pretty good at reading people. If someone is injured with or low energy or they have low sleep, I adapt, I modify. I'm a guy who believes that you know exercise intensity is really important. Like we really need to load when the time is right, right? When your form's good, when you have good, a good amount of a good foundation. So, like Kathy, I'll use her as an example. In the beginning, when I first started working with her on training, we really focused on posture, alignment, breathing, loading, but yet not that much, right? And then over time, we've loaded more and more, and she's doing things that she never did before. And then but more recently, right, Kathy, you've had a shoulder issue. We haven't been loading very much, and in fact, I even said, hey, let's not do shoulder presses. Let's not do overhead
Yeah.
pressing things, right? And she was still doing them anyway. I kept saying, no, Kathy, stop doing that. We're
I
not
know.
gonna. I kept saying that. You kept doing them. Yeah, we have to be careful because it's all if something's feeling inflamed or painful, we don't want to make it worse, right? And things go through pain cycles, inflammation cycles.
Mm.
Um, and if we keep doing things that aggravate it, it's going to get worse. So sometimes you just need to chill. And that's the case with my the client I was talking about, Nancy, who's like just dragging. I was like, hey, we're just gonna take it easy. Let's just do a lot of foam rolling. Let's continue doing focused breathing, foam rolling, and other self-massage things, stretching, core work. We did some squats and rows today, with my client I'm talking about, but it was really a slow, deliberate breathing type of squat. It was actually opposite of what we would normally do. Actually, let's do that real quick because this is actually a good way. This is a good energetic thing too. If you want to join me on this, let's all stand up real quick. So, just give me an example how we can take an exercise that's normally exerting and make it easier. So, let's do this real quick together. So, I can do it with a chair behind me if I want. Either way. So, looks like this. So, let's start here. Let's feel a connection to the ground. Spread your toes. Feel
Huh.
the little toe
Mm.
outer foot. Okay. Can you hear me okay, right?
Yes.
All right. So let's put one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. So I'm locked in with my feet, equal weight shift. I want to take a deep breath in through my nose. Feel the belly rib cage expand first. Ideally, it's not the chest, and then slowly exhale. Feel the belly drawing. Inhale, deep breath in. Belly, rib cage expands, shoulders relax, and exhale. And you can do this seated as well. Close your eyes now. Now, from an energetic standpoint, one of my number one primal needs is breathing. So, if we were to work on this foundation, we would all feel a little bit better. So, let's just work on that for a moment. Let's go mouth closed, lips closed, teeth closed, and swallow. Tongue goes to the roof of the mouth. We're going to do something called uplock nasal breathing. I want you to feel the belly rib cage go up on the inhale. So deep breath in through the nose for 5, 4. Inhaling 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the nose with the mouth closed, lips closed, and teeth closed. Feel the belly go in. Let's do it again. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it again. Inhale for 5, 4. Feel the belly rib cage expand. 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Now, if we just work on something like that, just slow, deep breaths in and out of the nose, breathing with the tongue under the mouth. That's great. So, getting back to the squat now, we can make the squat a less intense exercise by focusing on breathing. It's kind of like a Tai Chi move. So, we're going to go ahead and in through the nose right now. Belly rib cage expands. And now we're gonna exhale down as slow as possible as we sit into the squat. Deep breath in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a really slow squat. Inhale for 5, 4, 3. We're rising. 2, 1. Exhale, blow out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5. You can do whatever you want with your hands. 4, 3. Inhaling, rib cage expands. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, blow out. 4, 3. Knees in line with second, third toe. 2, 1. A couple more. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's actually harder when we go this slow because there's time under tension,
Mhm.
right? But it's very controlled. Yes, I am creating exertion. I'm not loading though. It might feel like it. Inhale, deep breath in. We'll do one more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Good. So normal squat
Mhm.
is much faster, much more energetically challenging. It's more like this. This is my normal squat.
Mhm.
In it, I might jump. So those are going to be even more exerting, right? So holding a weight, we often do goblet squats, and we
Mhm.
blow out on the way up, right? So those are different type of squats. So one, you're feeling left tired. So if I do a jump squat or hold a goblet position squat or holding weights here, very taxing to the body, right? So just understand that we can switch up the workouts and take a squat, for example, in a situation where I'm not feeling great and still do the squat. But that's called a breathing squat or a Zen
Mhm.
squat. Okay. The other key thing to get out of what I just said was breathing makes a difference. So slow, deep breaths, more energizing, help you recharge. Fast breathing has a different role too. Fast breathing can give you a little more energy as well. Uh,
Mhm.
so we've done some priming in the past. Remember the Tony Robbins priming? So if I exaggerate the breathing, that could be metabolically stimulating. Didn't someone here send me something on breathing fast? Is it Miriam? You just sent me that this week? Fast breathing leads to something. Nobody here said anything? All right. Thought sure it was Miriam. Marcia, no, maybe? Anything about fast breathing? All right. So anybody notice a difference in energy right now just from doing that? Should be calming.
Mhm.
Anybody
Mhm.
notice that? A
Yeah, I
little more
feel more relaxed.
relaxed. All right. Let's do one more thing on breathing. Just I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I think it's important to understand breathing because I think it's a cheap way to just change your physiology quickly. Because sometimes we just need to switch our breathing up, usually calm it down. All right. Kathy's runs fast. All right. Miriam here, she's running. a little bit anxious sometimes, right? So again, that's very exerting. That's hard on the heart. It's your heart's beating faster than it should. Blood pressure is going to be higher than it should generally. Your adrenals are going to be, being utilized more. So for most of us, we need to calm down. All right. But let's say you're being honest, like, you know, you're getting a lot of sleep. You just need to wake up. This is a good one for waking up and getting that system recharged. It's good to blow the nose prior, but let's get the feet down. So we're going to pump the arms. Pumping the arms and breathing is going to be very stimulating, as you will see. So what we're going to do is this: we're going to go inhale and then exhale through the nose. Inhale. And again, if you have stuff in your nose, it's going to get all over you and the neighbors and everybody. So you might want to blow your nose. Um, if you have a shoulder issue, don't go all the way up, just go right here. So, okay. So what we're gonna do is 30 reps and then we're gonna rest. And just do this twice. Normally I do it 3 times. It's great to do after lunch before, let's say you were at a seminar, you had to wake up or whatever you need to be awake and present for. Another way to get your energy up. Maybe I say to start your day. I probably wouldn't do this before bed. I do the more calming one. So we're going to go fast. We're going to go. So notice where you are right now, energy wise, and we'll see if it changes. Feet on the ground, real tall, lengthened spine. Ready? Inhale and go. And relax. One hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Close your eyes. Slow, deep breaths now. So, right, we just did some fast breathing and arm pumps. That's just the opposite of my slow process of the squats I was just talking about. Feel the belly rib cage expand and then relax. Notice your energy right now. Notice your clarity, your thoughts. How's your body feeling? You might feel some numbness, tingling. Feel that belly rib cage expand. Exhale, relax. Let's do one more set of 30. All right. One more set. Real tall, lengthened spine, ear in line with shoulder and hip. Ready? Inhale through the nose and go. And relax. Hands on your knees, shoulders back. Slow, deep breaths. So heart rate should be up, blood pressure should be up. Now we're going to create calm. Remember this priming exercise. Next time you're feeling like you need a little caffeine, a little bit of a chocolate surge, you can do the same thing with breathing and motion. So, motion gives us energy, movement gives us energy, but sometimes we just don't even have enough energy to do that. We might just go to the breath. Okay. So, I just want to kind of point out that there's a number of ways to enhance energy. So, anybody notice anything with what we just did? What do you notice right now? Any changes in your physiology?
I feel more awake, more
Right.
alert.
More alert, like ready to study.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Do you have anything to study right now?
I'm studying you.
Oh,
I
there
have
you
my
go.
notes.
All right, got it. So Tony Robbins talks about how there's 3 different ways to change your emotional state. Talked about this in the past.
Ooh.
Calls it the triad of I can't remember. It's just some kind of triad. But the fastest way to change your emotional state is by changing your physiology. So We just did that in a couple ways. We changed our breathing pattern and we also got movement going, right? So movement and breath change your physiology, right? Another thing that changes your state quickly is music. So people
Mm-hmm.
really change their emotions, their emotional state by a song that makes them feel good. So that's why dancing is such a powerful thing for people, regardless of age, right? So again, this is really important stuff to change your state. Change your state, you change your energy. So very, very important. Okay. Now I can change my state a number of ways. Many times people do it, unfortunately. Can't see how these glasses. People change their states in negative ways, right? They do that with caffeine. So caffeine can do that, can change your state, your energetic state, can change your emotions, but yet there's a consequence. And we'll just use caffeine as an example. Like I don't really have much of an effect of caffeine. And I do believe it's genetics. My mother's the same way. We could both drink a cup of coffee before bed and have no physiological change. I think as I've gotten older, though, I am getting a little more sensitive, but I can still have, an espresso martini at 9 o'clock and go to bed. Like my wife couldn't do that. My mom could. So it's really interesting, right? So, but many people cannot have caffeine, probably 50% past noon, one
Yeah.
o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Or they might even have negative symptoms like headaches or arrhythmias, maybe. I don't know. High heart rates. So just things are not always good. You might like coffee, but it might not like you. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
So I know a few of you don't drink caffeine at all here. So again, that's an example of something that people do. People also do alcohol to change their state. I don't know if they
Mm-hmm.
drink it. Maybe people drink it because of the energy, but mostly people drink to calm them down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Calming. Um, People do certain foods because they want to eat energy, they want to get more energy, right? Some people might eat more carbohydrates. Again, that's a temporary effect. Your glucose is going to go up and then it's going to go down.
Yeah.
Ideally, if we want when it comes to nutrition, I'm not going to get into this too much, but we want an even keel. Would you agree? Like that's actually ideal. I don't really
Mm-hmm.
want up or down. So when I think of balancing your glucose levels, that's the way to stay at an even keel with our energy. So just to keep food simple, I want to think about protein first. So what's my protein in this meal? So I'm going to have dinner tonight at some point. It's going to be sent. My dinner is going to be centered around protein. I don't want my dinner to be centered around pasta. Now I might have pasta theoretically, but the pasta would be with the protein. So like last night we had meatballs, turkey meatballs. I had a good amount of meatballs. And then we did have pasta with it. So, but the pasta was this amount. Like in the old days, my pasta was this big. It was a much bigger plate of pasta. It's not that I don't eat pasta. It's just that I know my weakness in a sense. I know my challenges are not being able to handle carbohydrates very well. And I can't handle them at 53, and I really couldn't. I could handle them a little bit better when I was say 15, but I still I used to eat a ton of carbs. I used to eat 90% of my calories as carbs and very little protein. So I was not overweight per se, but I always had a belly even when I worked out 5 hours a day. I'm actually probably just about the same, and I work out. I'm probably the same as I was when I was 20, but I have I'm not as muscular, but my belly's no bigger than it was when I was 20, probably less actually. So I was
Mm-hmm.
bigger when I was 20, but I was also more muscular. But I would say I was a little bit bigger with my belly and waist because I ate too many carbs. Now I know better. I work out 4 hours less, and I'm probably in similar shape, similar. So without all the work I was putting in, because I now I've dialed in the diet. Does that make sense? So, but balance. I had zero, I'm gonna say not zero. I had very low energy throughout the day because back in the day, I was eating way too many carbohydrates. I was focused on fat-free foods, so I ate a lot of sugar growing up. Until I was about 21, the majority of my diet was carbohydrates, like many who were on the fat-free wagon
Yeah.
back in the old days. Okay. So just want to kind of touch on things that can throw our energy off. Another one is sleep. Sleep is
Mhm.
so if I go to bed too late, wake up too early, get interrupted sleep by my animals, my children. It's usually one of those, my wife. Somebody's going to wake me up. It's never my fault. Just want to let you guys know. It's like, it's never always somebody else's fault.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So I can see why people do sleep in separate bedrooms as they get older, you know. So get rid of the kids, get rid of the dog, get your own bed, sleep. Sleep. I just got new sheets. It's great. I
Woohoo.
was dying. I thought I had male menopause. It was just that my wife really, really just loves these warm sheets. I tried to explain to her, I like, what's wrong? Why are we still sleeping with these warm sheets? They're like, they were, I think they were flannel. I'm like, it's like
The
100.
flannel sheets for winter?
I swear they are. I don't think they are flannel, but they're like way too warm. And she runs. Well, she runs hot. No, not she runs hot. So why would she like those either? I don't know. It's like we're different temperatures for sure. But we just got bamboo sheets. Best thing
Oh,
ever. From what's that? Quinn?
Prince?
What is it? Yes, that one. Who said that?
I did.
Quince. Anybody ever shop at Quince?
Well, I
It's
bought
like
some clothes
supposedly.
there. hmm
Well, what?
I bought clothes there if that's the same company.
Yeah. So somebody told me about this, but the prices are supposedly really, really good. And
Uh-huh.
anyway, so I just bought some
Costco
brand
was
new,
selling them not too long ago.
really, bamboo sheets.
I believe that that's what they were. We bought some. I did not
Yeah,
like them because they moved around too much.
yeah, they move around a little bit. Yeah, but they're very cool. So,
Okay.
and again, where we live, guys, some of you live in the Bay Area, the rest of us live in El Dorado Hills area. It is hot out here. I think it's like
Yeah, it's hot.
103 right now, right? Is it 103 outside? I never
Yeah.
know. I'm inside most of the day, but it's hot. It's hot. So, but if we're too hot, we're not going to sleep well,
That's
right?
right.
So, um, they say it should be about 68 degrees, you know, in our environment, but that's not necessarily what's going on inside your sheets and blankets. So,
Hmm.
it might be, you know, 70 degrees outside, but then you might be like in way too warm of sheets and comforters and stuff, and you might be creating a cocoon where it's 85 degrees inside your little bed world. So anyway, so temperature matters. Temperature matters. If you're hot, it's going to be problematic. If you're cold, it's going to be a problem as well. So sleep. Let's try to go to bed around the same time, wake up around the same time, but it plays a big role. Okay. So now those are kind of our foundations, right? If you are doing all those things, we might want to look elsewhere. So I am going to go over a little handout because I'm not an expert in NAD, but it is um, I have a good handout which will make me feel like an expert because I have information right here. Okay, so let's talk about NAD a little bit here. So uh, and let me give you a little background first. So can you all see my screen?
hmm
Yes.
All right. So NAD and your energy is the title of this. What we're going to talk about what it is, why it matters, and how to get more of it. And let me just start with the background, and that is I was introduced to one of the leading experts in NAD. He's a scientist. I don't know. I think he's from China. His name's Dr. Jin, I believe. And you can look him up. Jin Finity. This guy's all over the place right now. I uh, I met him about 10 years ago. I don't think anybody here knows this lady. So one of my early mentors, colleagues, Greta Blackburn, she's from the Los Angeles area, and I used to work with her and teach fitness camps. She's kind of a celebrity. She was in soap operas and she was in a TV series called The V back in the old days. Anybody remember The V? It's like,
The
we're
what?
talking 1985, 1990 or so. Anyway, she's kind of like, has a lot of Hollywood connections and so on. And I was her fitness trainer, camp leader for these camps in Malibu. And she just kind of knows people. She's very well connected. She was one of the first people to, you know, that I ever heard of stem cells. So she was early on in the stem cell space. She broke away from health and fitness, went into stem cells. And then she, introduces me to this guy, Ginfinity Doc, and says, Brien, you got to meet this guy. He is the father of NAD. And I had never heard of NAD in my life. I'm like, oh, the father of what? He's like, he's the only guy, Brien, who's got a lab test for NAD, and pretty much everybody needs it. And it's like really great. Most people are tanking their energy, and we can test them, find home test, find out where their NAD is, and then you know take a product, NAD product, and then test them again. It's scientifically based. All right. So, and I got the test. I was low. This is like 10 years ago. I was super low. Maybe it might have been 6 years ago, actually. It wasn't that long ago. I was actually, I think I was living in, yeah, it was probably around COVID. So the heart of it all. And I wasn't really ready for a new thing. I had enough new things with COVID. So I tested, I was super low. I took the powder, I didn't really notice much, honestly. And, here we are. And now it's been the talk of town. Like I hear everybody talking about NAD. My client Nancy was recommended to take NAD because she had low energy, and and it's just been very, very popular now in the circles of supplements. So there's supplement circles that improve your NAD. There are in IV injections. So there's an IV place opening up in every city. So I know there's one in Redwood City that does some kind of IV, like for various things like glutathione and different things. All these recovery centers are opening up. So IVs do it. And I think it's like, it's probably about 100 to 150 a shot or an IV. And it's like 2 hours if you do the IV. But it does improve your energy. It's great if you, drink the night before and you're like hungover. That's like a lot of people might do this. And then there's also injections, just like a GLP shot, Ozempic, if you're not familiar with GLPs. So anyway, so that's kind of where we are today. So it's really, really popular in certain circles. It's getting more popular in the GLP-1 circle because a lot of people are experiencing plateaus, and the immediate thought is, I'm going to do more GLP-1. That might not be the best idea. You might need to do something else. So oftentimes people think more is better of anything, and it just might be we need to choose a slightly different path. So people have taken NAD in one of these three forms, and they've broken their weight loss plateaus. Okay, so I'll kind of get into that. Let's go. So NAD, what is it? It stands for nicotinamide adenine
Adenine
dinucleotide.
dinucleotide.
Say that 5 times. I'm just going to
Okay.
call it. Yeah. So it's a molecule found in every cell in your body. It is involved in over 500 chemical reactions, nearly all of them related to energy production, DNA, repair, and cellular health. Now, it is not a peptide. I will talk a lot about peptides. It is a coenzyme. A coenzyme helps enzymes do their job. That's all you need to really know. Okay. So coenzymes help enzymes. So this is something that helps enzymes do their job. All right. So simple version, NAD is a spark plug of your cellular engine. Without it, your mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of your cells, called energy factories inside your cells, they can't do their job without the spark plug. Right? When your mitochondria is underperforming, everything suffers: energy, focus, metabolism, recovery, and sleep, and aging. Okay. Here's a big one. NAD levels decline by nearly 50% by age 40. Some of you are twice the age of 40 here, right? You have zero NAD. That's
No,
just what
no.
that's what I got from that. That's what I got. I don't know how you took that, but um, so if your energy, yeah, so this is one of the primary reasons why energy, cognition, metabolism, recovery all decline as we get older, and why so many people feel like they are running on empty despite doing everything right. So I wanted to start with, like the breathing, the food, um, the sleep, because those are really key, right? Um, I I am not taking this myself, but I am going to order some just because I am doing a lot of things right. Um, there's a number of things that I still want to do that I haven't done. I haven't bought a genetic test. It's on my list. I've done food sensitivity testing, GI microbiome testing. I've done tons of Western medicine lab work this year. I've got my doctor to test everything I could. I'm pretty damn good in the Western medicine world, but I know I got problems. I've tested every GI test and I know I have issues in my GI, but I went through every test. I had a colonoscopy. I did everything. And they're like, you're totally fine. You're healthy, but I'm not. I'm not good enough. Now that might be my father's message to me, early childhood. But what I mean by that is I know I can be better, and the tests that they're doing are not picking up on my issues. I know I have issues. I am itching when I eat certain foods. I know I have a histamine response, but their tests can't assess that. Now, when I do my own
Mm.
test outside the Western space, I got all kinds of crazy bacteria out of whack. We can see that there's histamine reactions. I know there's problems. So, but unfortunately, Western medicine has no test for that yet. So there's just a lot of things we can do. My point is, there's a lot of things I could do and I should do, but finances, time, energy are
Mhm.
definitely in the back of my mind.
Factors, yeah.
So I don't take this because I'm like, God, I have other things that I felt I needed to take. But this one sounds like a pretty convincing one. I'm just throwing that out there as terms of like some people think multivitamins are like, hey, that's their thing. Maybe, you know, just I can argue that our lifetime multi is pretty good. I'm not taking that either. I've always felt like I just needed more. Like a multi is like good if you're gonna just like, hey, my budget's like 40, $50 or something like that, and I'm only gonna take one thing. I hate pills, and I can't take all those things. The lifetime multi, and then more I've researched that one, it's pretty good because there's a lot of little things that can help with these different processes. But if you're kind of wanting to try something, you have these symptoms, you might want to consider getting NAD in some fashion, right? Because it sounds pretty intriguing for many people. But I would say I wouldn't I wouldn't do this. It wouldn't be my first thing I would do. I would like, hey, I'd invest in like learning about your food. Let's dial in your sleep to the best of your ability. Um, but if you're like, hey, I don't have the bandwidth, Brian, my sleep's never going to get better. I'm a nurse. That's probably a good idea because it probably won't change. If you're still working 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. in the morning, that's you need to do whatever you can to optimize your health. This would be a really great thing for a nurse, a firefighter, an EMT, paramedics. If you know those people, they're never going to change their lifestyle until they retire. So, but that would be a really good one. A mom who's an older mom who just is struggling with sleep because sleep is going to reduce your NAD even more. So just something to think about. Of course, if you're older, that could be beneficial too, or any of these things that you can work on around energy, brain and focus, metabolism, longevity. So, but you can see here, NAD powers your mitochondria. Low NAD leads to persistent fatigue that does not respond to rest, caffeine, or sleep alone. Your brain is the most energy demanding organ you have. NAD supports mental clarity, protects against brain fog, and supports long-term cognitive health. NAD activates proteins that regulate insulin sensitivity, so it can help with belly fat metabolism. And a real key one is it helps you switch between different fuel sources. So a lot of us are carb burners when we really want to be fat burners. So one of the things we do at Lifetime here is we do an RMA test that assesses your fuel source. So highly recommend that. And it tells us how many calories you're burning at rest. So really, really key. If your NAD is at a normal level, you're probably going to exert more calories as well because you're going to have more energy to want to exercise more. You're going to get more out of the workout session instead of being fatigued at, say, I'm going to say 10 minutes on the bike. You might be able to go 15, 20 minutes on the bike because you have more endurance and even just brain clarity. Things that deplete your NAD are alcohol. It's never going to be good. Alcohol depletes NAD, inconsistent sleep, chronic stress, elevated cortisol. Was it last week we talked about cortisol and the need to test that? I believe it was. We talked about the stress and resilience lab kit. So really important one to consider. If your cortisol is elevated, your NAD is going to be even lower. Crappy food and sugar, of course, sedentary lifestyle, chronic inflammation. So these are all things that will, deplete your NAD. And at the end of the day, make you age faster. So how do you support it? Exercise daily. These are the foundations. So if you don't want to spend any money, exercise. The problem is you might not have the energy to exercise, right? That's the problem. Intermittent fasting can be helpful. That will shift you towards fat burning, but we got to be careful. We need to eat. So we need to eat. Being on a GLP-1 can make it easier to fast. But again, we got to be careful. 14 to 18 hours of fasting followed by a window of eating. So if I fast for 12 hours, let's say, I'm going to eat in a 12-hour window. If I fast for 14 hours, I'm going to fast in a 10-hour. Sorry. If I fast for 14 hours from, say, what time? I don't know, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So stop eating at 8 and eat your first meal at 10. That would be a 14-hour fast. I want to eat for the next 10 hours. I got to eat a certain amount of calories, otherwise I'm going to be nutrient deprived. But that could be helpful for increasing NAD. Sleep, talked about that, reducing alcohol, manage stress, eat whole foods. Here's a big one. Eat foods high in B3. Okay. High in B3, like turkey, fish, mushrooms, and peanuts. I'd probably limit my peanuts, but B3 foods enhance NAD. Okay. Problem is, can you break them down? Are you going to overcook those foods? So we need to be careful of overcooking all of our foods, but especially our protein sources, because we won't get the vitamins. Okay. So other than that, we want to speed this process up. And if you're, of course, older, you're just not going to get enough from those sources. So number one is we just gotta stop doing the alcohol and limit it and get more sleep and move, right? All great. Let's have some B3 foods, and then these are some options that we can do to speed it up. So number one, we can take an oral supplement. Some different sources here. I will post this on the school site. I'm also going to post a recommendation that Ginfinity got. So if you already pulled up him, he's really interesting. He's all over social media now. Ginfinity Nutrition or Ginfinity Medicine. I think it's called Ginfinity Medicine. But I have a partnership with them, so I can send you a link for that. And I believe I have a discount code. All right. Option two, we have subcutaneous injections. I work with Solara Med. I have a colleague who owns that company, and his mom is a physician, so I'm able to get prescription medical prescription um, based products from them. We are now offering testosterone. Crazy. So that
Hmm.
just happened today. So older males are generally in need of testosterone. But NAD is there. There is a nasal spray. I have no idea if it works. So I probably wouldn't buy the nasal spray. Uh, I would get either the injections or my wife did an NAD infusion. She said she had some energy, but it takes a while. It's 2 hours. It's a little more expensive. It's going to be much better pricing when you do the subcutaneous injection. The oral is great. It's just going to take a bit longer, which is fine, right? So there's just three different options. So I have some, you know, questions that are most common here. Can you just buy it from the store? NMN is, I can't remember what it stands for. It's right here. It stands for nicotinamide mononucleotide. So, Nutridyne is another company I work with. They have one of these. I can't remember which one it is, but Nutridyne prides itself on the best product that enhances NAD. I know Designs for Health has a product as well, and of course the scientist I told you about. So you can get them in a lot of different places. Uh, Now the Ginfinity guy does say that he tests all these products and most of them don't work. So I will kind of leave you with that. I don't know. He's trying to make money off his product. He says his product's the best. I don't know. So I did do a quick search on AI to find out if that was actually true, and it said, yeah, there's no proof of that. So I don't know. However, my friend who introduced me to him 10 years ago, 6 to 10 years ago, says he is the best. I don't know. So there is science on this. It's one of the most researched molecules in longevity science. Animal data is compelling. Human trials show improved cardiovascular and metabolic levels. So there is science on NAD, and I do think you're going to hear more and more about it. It indirectly helps with weight loss because it helps with something called metabolic flexibility, making you more of a fat burner than a carb burner, which is a good thing. All right. So these are some other questions here. So I will post this, guys. I got to run, but hopefully this gave you some insight into NAD. I do believe you're going to hear about it more and more. Uh, you're going to hear about all kinds of things more and more. Uh, so we're just, people are sharing and peptides are getting popular and lots of, everybody wants to get better, right? And really, if people can do it faster, they're excited about it, right? So hopefully that piques some interest. Let me know if you have any questions, okay? We are good. Thanks for showing up today.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right, guys.
Brian.
Talk soon. I'll
Okay.
post this to
Thanks,
school later.
Fran.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.